Hello, my name is Vera Bühlmann, and I'm going to teach this seminar together with Sophie Ramm, who will introduce herself shortly in a little bit. Our course is going to be called Leonardos Vernaculars. What we will be looking at is, on the one hand, this new generation of so-called open artificial intelligence, open AI. We're going to work with the ChatGPT and other algorithms that work with large corpuses of texts and allow us to proceed in an associative way that can be extremely interesting and reopens a new way to engage with the very old concept of mimesis. We will focus with Leonardo also on the question of a certain kind of speechlessness that is arguably often the case for engineers. We will look at several of the reasons why and how we can overcome them, how we can learn to speak technically well informed, while at the same time with a personality that is interesting. The main idea is that engineers often hesitate to talk because when we talk, very often we impoverish the situation that we would like to preserve in richness that can be experienced, and that kind of appears to be competing with words. But this, especially this new digital tools that allow us to proceed not only analytically, but also in a synthetic and even in a poetic and in a rhetorical way, that works with quantitative means and with technical precision, is very interesting to reconsider in this respect. We will be working in a manner that, if you want, orchestrates or bundles or sheaves or organizes formulations and ideas and motifs that have been uttered by many people, by many voices, and yet the way in how we try to find arrangements of them has a bit the character of still lifes. So we try to bring things to talk to each other that are not our own innermost intentions or our messages, but rather should surprise us and should be, in a certain sense, also contemplative. So what you will learn throughout this course is to develop a critical reflection on artificial intelligence, its own proper dynamics, as well as also the limits and the new potentials, with the aim to learn how to formulate questions in a way that enriches the research, not only reduces it and makes it narrow and punctual, but can proceed associatively through circular means. That's where the interest in rhetorics and poetics is coming from. And this reconnects a lot with a very old sense of doing classical humanistic studies. They were not meant to formulate a problem and then solve it in the most efficient way, but rather they are a very powerful means to think about possible coexistences of complex, apparently contradictory, also de facto contradictory situations, because they don't place the emphasis on how do we make a judgment, what is our opinion in contrast to others, but rather we try to temper them in an interplay. So we will look at rhetorical and poetic instruments as well as digital tools, and we will specifically focus on how to work with online libraries that allow an associative kind of search that is augmented by artificial intelligence. The topic of Leonardos Vernaculars will now be introduced by Sophie Ramm. She is by education an architect and an art historian, and will give us a short background into why specifically Leonardo.
Creativity and innovation are among the key words of our time. Their preferred realities are science and art. But how does the new come into the world? The new is understood as that which is searched for and recreated in action. Besides the Mona Lisa, Leonardo is best known for the Vitruvian Man. But today we know that much of what is considered as his invention did not originally come from him. Leonardo was good in discovering synthesizing and reformulating ideas that were already published. He took over the thoughts of others, but he made them constructible by precisely looking at the details, the dimension of the elements, the joinings, and he experimented in real. We admire the concreteness of his drawings. At the same time, they were very illustrative. He did not come to summarize all inventions in a big glossary. He left the world only an unsystematic collection of leaves, the so-called codices, that are distributed in libraries all over the world. In his collections and studies, he preserved the knowledge of an entire epoch. Today, we are confronted with the speechlessness of the engineer, according to Jürgen Mittelstraß. And already in the end of the 19th century, Nietzsche claimed that this vivid Leonardo world, the meaningful structure, got lost. An dem Bau der Begriffe arbeitet ursprünglich, wie wir sahen, die Sprache. In späteren Zeiten die Wissenschaft. Wie die Biene zugleich an den Zellen baut und die Zellen mit Honig füllt, so arbeitet die Wissenschaft unaufhaltsam an jenem großen Kolumbarium der Begriffe, der Begräbnisstätte der Anschauungen. Baut immer neue und höhere Stockwerke, stützt, reinigt erneut die alten Zellen und ist vor allem bemüht, jenes ins Ungeheure aufgetürmte Fachwerk zu füllen und die ganze empirische Welt, das heißt die anthropomorphische Welt, hineinzuordnen. In our seminar, we want to shake up the piled-up construct of new terms made by scientists all over the last decades. We want to reanimate each cell extracted of its burial place, understand the deeper meaning of each word by putting it in a new context, upcycling it. We don't know yet the typology of this new building made out of words, but instead of being a mute columbarium, a memory or storage place, we imagine an animated building, a meeting place, extending more in the horizon than building up stories. At the same time, this building shouldn't take over lands. It's not territorial, it's in constant rearrangement. It's curious of touching new lands and branching. It's globally interchanging goods without consuming, but tasting and smelling. The distilled words don't find a fixed room. They circulate and rotate in a building without walls. Yet they have the specific attractions forces and search for their favorite neighbors. There are no construction rules, no standardized language rules. We are unfamiliar with the constellations. We have in mind certain guidelines, the material appropriateness, and we don't want to create fake news. We are concerned about the circularity and recycling possibilities. It's a lightweight structure with flexible joints, but we are not sure about its load-bearing capacities. We have to realize it, act it, like Leonardo, speak it, in order to test its performance and its echo. Before starting to build, we have to make soil samples. We want to test the ground, ranging from Roman antiquity to digital times. Above all, we try to catch those particles buzzing around through ChatGPT. Can it be recorded? Can we describe it? How will it perform? The linguistic fabric cannot be inhabited by humans, but with its oratory, it's welcoming all curious visitors. In collaboration with the capacities of artificial intelligence, we want to formulate, according to Da Vinci, the codices of our time. This never-finished glossary, or better, atlas, that links the atoms of the world in a new, meaningful structure.
Our kickoff will be on Monday, January 6th. That's also the day when our seminar will be conducted, Mondays, from 10 o'clock until around 12:30. The course will be conducted in English, but students are very welcome to also work in German, so you can do your writing exercises in either English or in German. We look forward to meet you, and thank you for watching.